Well, thanks for joining us on BloombergQuint. This is Deal Street, your weekly dose of startup deals. Today on Deal Street, we have a Google-backed startup which has raised a fresh round of funding to take on the likes of a Swiggy, Zomato, and even the big baskets of the world. Joining me is Kabir Biswas. He's the co-founder of Bengaluru-based Dunzo to talk about the fresh investment that he has raised. Kabir, many thanks for your time and joining us today. Let's talk about investment that you've raised. How much are you really raising, and who are these investors that are participating in this round beyond Google?
So this round of capital is for about $45 million. This is basically the first close on this round of capital. We will most likely add on to it over a period of time. Large investors, Lightbox Ventures out of Bombay has actually led the round. Google has participated. They are our largest investors right now. And we have two new investors. There's a Korean fund called Stick Ventures. They have two entities who have invested, and 3L Capital out of New York.
Right. You mentioned this being a part of a large investment round that you're looking to raise. How much exactly is the overall round size?
That's most likely a call that you and me will do in another 60 days' time.
Okay. So let's talk about what are the key areas you're looking to deploy this fresh investment?
Two large areas. One is I think we have very well understood as to how we want to grow micro communities towards growth and really what works for growth at Dunzo. So I think that's something that we'll go ahead and do. This is not saying that we'll do more cities. We are in about 8 cities now. We might extend that coverage in about 12 months to another 4 more cities, so 12 odd cities. But we'll go a lot more denser in these cities. So the quality of product and the quality of experiences in these cities will become dramatically better. That's the first thing that we'll deploy it on. The second thing will be, we believe that every bit of efficiency that we find in this business is now linked to building really, really difficult tech problems and solving for them. And so a large part of the investment is actually towards being able to solve some of these really hard real world problems that we face every day.
Okay. The biggest question everyone has as far as the hyperlocal delivery model is concerned, are customers really paying? And what kind of challenges are you facing, in terms of how difficult or easy really is to get a customer pay for the services that you provide?
All businesses are difficult to make money out of. That's the starting point. but this one is unique. So think about it this way: the day you actually start what you call running a geography on Dunzo, on day zero we actually have negative gross margin economics. But as soon as we start finding density, which means we start going ahead and running a lot of transactions in a small geography, our gross margins turn profitable at a particular rate of density. The unique thing about that also is that our gross margin can keep going up, which is actually not possible in our traditional businesses. Right. So I think the one thing that we've been able to crack, Nishant, and I think that's been our large focus over the last year, right, is clearly seems to be a very organic problem that consumers want stuff delivered to them. You need to be able to do that scalably, and you need to be able to do that profitably. So I think the one thing that we have figured out is today we can actually assess about 75% of geographies in the country, understand exactly what our rollout strategy in those geographies needs to be over the first 18-month period. And within a 18 to 24-month period, how do we start turning them profitable at some X of market penetration? And so we now have that down to a T, and we are able to actually deploy that capital really smartly. It's a very nuanced and a balanced approach regarding how many delivery partners, how many merchants, what kind of consumers, what kind of demand patterns, how do you price the platform at different times of day, different days of the week. All of these things lead into us being able to create a kind of utilization piece that allows us to make money. But at a very, very balanced fashion, we can actually turn a geography profitable in about 18 months. And so we now seem to have the tricks to be able to do that. We have learned how to do it.
You operate in a very hyper-competitive market. You face challenges, from a standalone food delivery space as well, from Swiggy and Zomato. Then you also faces challenge from a grocery startup as well, such as Big Basket or Grofers of the world. And even, Swiggy is also trying to do what exactly you are doing in this, being a hyper-local delivery platform. How difficult it is to stand out, and how are you looking to create your own niche in this hyper-competitive market?
So I don't think it's a niche. I think it's the number one way that consumers will actually interact and expect stuff to get to them. I think the future is where you can get everything in 30 minutes time. Why are you waiting for any longer? And I think the one thing that does exist is anybody who's in the vertical space has realized that they need to actually start getting stuff to people faster and more reliably. If anything, we might have solved for something that they haven't solved for. Right? Just why would you wait for anything for 4 hours if you can get it in 30 minutes at the same price point? That's the fundamental. It's the difference between what Uber did to the world and what the cab businesses were doing before that. Right. So no, I think the one thing that, if anything, that we are confident about is anybody that you point out as verticals or competition has to actually get to where we are. And by the time they get here, we need to actually go further away than them.
Are you also looking at drone delivery as another form of a delivery? What steps are you looking to take in that direction?
So I think we've already been able to do it, right? So average delivery times on Dunzo right now is at about 28 odd minutes. I think the way we think about the world and the business is that every time we actually get something done faster, we actually get it done for cheaper because the cost of getting it done is really the time that it's taking to get it done. So we deploy a lot of tech at our stores and for our delivery partners to make sure that we are shaving off seconds every time a transaction ends up happening. But that's really what it is. At its core, we believe that this is a platform that is connecting merchants and consumers with delivery partners in between. And we are building tech for our delivery partners and our merchants to actually get these transactions done faster. The nuances of it are insane till the point that we need to start predicting how items are getting stocked out at stores. We need to start predicting if local stores can actually keep their most valuable or the most frequently used items closer to their billing desk rather than inside the store. How can we go ahead and make sure that our delivery partners are available at the point of demand creation and in the geographies that we are predicting demand will exist. So there's a lot of tech that goes into being able to drop time per transaction. Just anecdotally, we've been able to drop our time per transaction from like 45 minutes on an average to 28 minutes over the last 15 months. And so we discriminately focus on that one thing as to how quickly are consumers getting what they wanted for.
Right. So how soon we can see your delivery venture, drone delivery venture taking shape? Can you give me any timelines for that?
Yeah, I think if you were to ask me honestly, the hopeful timeline is 6 to 9 months. The realistic might be closer to 12 to 15. So, like, I would be guessing at this point.
What about investment? How serious, separate a drone delivery vertical is going to be for you? How are you going to build it?
I think India is often uniquely surprised technology. It's what something that you notice on every cycle of tech that shows up. We have a few hunches, but Nishan, honestly, till we actually don't start doing it in a commercial fashion, we won't know, right? Like there are limitations. You can only deliver it in a slightly open area. So as soon as you have really, really large skyscrapers, how does that look? So like literally today, if you want a delivery person to deliver within a large office complex, it's painful. So if your office is in a large office complex, you have to often go down to get your delivery. Imagine it's that basic as a problem today. Where the drone delivers, where you go pick it up, is it only going to be a hub and spoke model that goes ahead and first delivers and we make long distance a lot more efficient? I think we will only realize after we get a little bit more clarity on what regulation looks like. And once you start doing some commercial tests, you will realize as to where line of sight space exists for delivery to happen. Today is slightly early to even hunch this. But I can promise you one thing. As a platform on Dunzo, we most likely have absolutely every use case that could get productized with drones available with us. So if we were to just say that this works only on hub and spoke, we have the traffic for it. If we say that it only works for emergency items, we have the traffic for it. So for us, it's very, very crucial that we start investing on it as soon as we go ahead and start seeing regulation for it.